And good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Codebase Alpha episode 51. I'm SMB. Welcome to the stream. We're a bit earlier than normal, but I did manage to miss my rescheduled Thursday stream last week because it was stupid hot in the UK, and it was just unbearable, and I couldn't even consider doing a stream when I was dripping in sweat and probably would have to appear, half naked on the stream. So we don't want any of that kind of horror show, do we? So welcome to the stream, everyone who's managed to make it so far. It's unexpectedly early, I do understand that, but given the fact that Dev Chatter wasn't going to stream today, I thought we'd just use that as an opportunity to try and get an early start. So last time we did a big refactoring of the Wandering Monster feature within our text adventure, and so what we're going to do today is try and expand on that and add a few more features, and basically just kind of get some point scoring in there, and just kind of build on what we've got to make it more of a game. Your Baum, welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you before. Well, thank you for the comment. Okay, so let's pop over to the code and see what we've got. So we're sat over here in our Dwarf Manager. So this is the class that we refactored all of the code, or most of the code, out of the Event Manager into the Dwarf Manager, where its responsibility is to handle our wandering monsters, our wandering dwarves. So that's what it does, and it's basically the same code we had before, and it's all nicely encapsulated in here. We can spawn the dwarves in locations. Thank you for the subscription, Your Bam. Very, very grateful for that. Have some hyperspatial Alf hype to celebrate your subscription, so thank you very much. Here we go. So this is a real-time web shader, which was created by our good friend Fuel Snowball, especially for the stream. That's all happening in real time. It's not a video or an animation or that. It's a real-time shader. Copper Beardy, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Okay, so as I was saying, the reason why we've got this this class is because in our adventure, dwarves are only one of the wandering monster types there are. There's another one, and it's the pirate. And I thought we might as well kind of tackle that, at least start to tackle the pirate. Basically, we're going to create another Monster Manager class. But first we need to actually go and have a look at how we can distinguish between dwarves and pirates as wandering monsters. And you can see here in this class we have this monsters list. It's a list of wandering monster. And the wandering monster class, it lives over here. So I think what we need to do in this case is to actually give the wandering monster a type. And I think we can do that fairly easily. So if we create a public enum and we call it I don't know, monster group, and then we have dwarves and pirate, as we spell all this correctly, help, pirate. So that's all we need so far. So we've got our wandering monster group. So let's just create a public property. Public. Dear me, I'm typing as usual. It's a monster group, and this is going to be the group. And we'll just put again the getter and a setter on that. So there we go. So when we create our wandering monsters now, we need to make sure we set up the group. So let's go and do that for our dwarves. The dwarves live over here. When we spawn the dwarves over in the spawn dwarf method here. So we're adding a new wandering monster spawn point. So let's go and change this slightly. So let's have a monster group that gets passed in at this point as well. So we can set the type. And then over in our Dwarf Manager we can say at spawn point, and it's going to be monster group dot dwarves. Okay. Now, one of the reasons we need this is because when we look at our little axe item, Robin Geek, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. When we look over at our little axe, we're actually detecting whether if there's a dwarf present in the room with us. So down here we get dwarf is present. Here we're just saying is look in the manager. So get the first manager and then look to see if there's a dwarf there. But now we're not going to be able to do this exactly the same. We're going to have to look. We're going to have to look for a particular monster manager, because now there's going to be two of them, essentially, or more. Look at that. We'll get rid of that. That's iTunes trying to update itself right in the middle of the stream. So cheers everyone, welcome to the stream. Okay. So what do we need to do? So what we're going to need to do is to step through all of the managers. So let's do the simplest thing possible, and we can always come back and refactor this as we move through. So far, this is going to be manager. Oh dear me. And it's going to be game.managers, monster managers. So for each of those, we're now going to step through. So we don't need that anymore. Manager's not null, return null. So what we can do here, if there's no managers at all, then we're going to return null out to the bottom of this method. That can go there. So what we need to do here is change this slightly. So what's the best way of doing it? So if yeah, so we can pull all that in to our if statement. And in that case, we want to okay. So let's think about this a bit deeper. So if the current location is not null, if the dwarf's current location isn't null, and its current location equals the player's location, and d dot group is monster group dwarfs. This can be any. If there are any of those, if there are any matching monsters which are dwarfs at the current location of the player, then what we need to do is to simply return, and it's going to be the first of those. It's no longer going to be default, because obviously there must be one. And we need a semicolon at the end there, and we'll just do a bit of a code clean up there to tidy it up. I think I'd like to tab those in a bit. Okay, so for each of the game monster managers, cycle through, try and find a match. If there's any dwarves at the current location, return the first of them. So that should take care of that quite nicely. Okay. So we've still got a bit of work to do in this area because at the moment we're interacting with an axe and we are not able to interact with a dwarf. So you're not able to say kill dwarf, and we need to be able to do that. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it though. And one of my ideas is that we actually kind of put a dwarf in the room, a dwarf object in the room. But I'm not quite sure because we don't want it to actually appear in the room descriptions because we're handling room descriptions when the dwarfs appear, they're being held and controlled here within the dwarf manager. So there's a nasty looking dwarf, or there are any number of nasty looking dwarfs in the room. If we actually put a dwarf object in there, a dwarf item, and we have got one of those, but it's not being used at the moment. If we do put one in there, then it will appear in the list of objects within the room, and we're already kind of taking care of that. So we might need a kind of a silent object in that case, but I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. Okay, so let's create a pirate manager, shall we? Where does dwarf manager live? Let's have a look. Where are we? We're in adventure, so we're at the top level, so we're in here. Where are we? I cannot see dwarf manager. Oh, there it is. So that doesn't belong in with location, so let's move it. It needs to live at the top level here, along with all these things. There we go. So hopefully that hasn't changed anything. Let's create a new class. We'll create it at the adventure level this time. So I'll add a class. And this is going to be called Pirate Manager. Okay, so this is going to be a public class, and we're going to inherit from iMonster Manager. Or we're going to implement the iMonster Manager interface. Okay, let's bring that in, and let's implement that interface. Okay, so we've got an act, we've got a list of wandering monsters, and we've got a dictionary of adventure locations. So let's go and grab some code from out of here. So we just want this to equal a new list. So rather than that, this is going to be a getter, and by default it's going to be a new list. Like that. The locations is just a getter. I'll add that in. And we need a constructor. We'll just pinch the constructor from over here. This is going to be public pirate manager, of course. And then we need to put some code inside of act. Now this code is going to be very, very similar. So I'm going to actually I'm going to steal it. So we're not worried about the first interaction with the dwarf. That should be fine. So the first thing we're going to do is actually spawn our pirate. So if monsters.count is equal to 0, then spawn pirates. And there's only going to be actually one pirate, but we'll call it spawn pirate. So we can go and once again borrow this code for spawning pirates. So spawn pirates is going to live down here. This is going to be a pirate. And this pirate's always going to spawn in the same place. So we're not going to need to use the spawn points. We may come back and revisit this. So the spawn point, what's the best way of doing it? We don't need an alternative spawn point. That's going to be a lot simpler. So the spawn point is going to be the pirate's cave where this chest is currently hidden. What have we got available to us here? Okay. So let's have a look. I think we're going to need a copy of the game passing in here. So we'll grab the game. We'll do that. No, that's not where I wanted it. Back out. That's going to be in there. And we don't need player location because we're not going to test for if we're spawning on top of the player. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to be able to do here. And this is going to be game. So var spawn point. Okay. So it's going to be. We've got a try method on this. So found is equal to game dot try. Is it called try? Dot dungeon dot try get location, and it's going to be the location dot pirate location dot pirate chest cave, and that's going to populate the spawn point. Spawn point does not exist. That's a var out. So the var, it's out var, sorry. Out var. So the var should be AI adventure location, which is, and that's what we expect to go in here. So then we can say if found, then we'll do our allocation of the wandering monster. So this, okay, act wants a player, so that we'll stick with that. AI adventure player. We'll need that anyway. That's it. That satisfied our interface. Now we do need to go to the dwarf, and we do need to not spawn a dwarf and in the pirate cave. So let's go to our locations. So in pirate cave, where's the pirate chest cave? Can't see it. What's it called? It's called Pirate Chest Cave. It's not under P. Where's Pirate Chest Cave gone then? Let's go and find it. There it is. It's in the All Alike maze, of course. Yes, so it's up here in the maze. So we need to go into here, and we'll say spawn point is false for now. We need to revisit this idea of spawn points because I think they're useful, but we need spawn point types. In fact, should we do that now? What we'll do is go to adventure location and then adventure location, and we'll have here next to spawn point we'll have we'll have monster group. Spawn type. Yeah, spawn type. We'll have that. Okay. And then back in adventure location. Where's adventure location gone? Over here. Thought I had it open. Colossal cave. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Adventure location should be over here somewhere. Locations. Where's my base class gone? Adventure location. There it is. So now we can actually implement that. So it's going to be public monster group spawn type. Get set. And here we're going to say true. And we're going to say that spawn type is going to be monster group .pirate. Okay, and we need to find all the other spawn point equals true locations. So let's find those. So we've got all like 4. This is going to be spawn type is monster group dwarves. Just grab that code. Right, chess cave is no longer part of this. This is the complex junction. Fisher West. All the Mountain King. Y2. And the other place is the alternate spawn point, which is the gold room. And we'll set it in there, even though we don't, strictly speaking, need it. So, there. Okay, so let's go and tidy up our code for spawning dwarves. So over in the dwarf manager, we need to say, put a restriction on here where the type of spawn point is equal to monster group dwarves, and that'll mean we only spawn at the right place. Okay, that spawns dwarves in those locations. So alt. Okay, so let's move this piece of code to the right location. Cut that, and where it's a spawn point, and L dot spawn type equals monster group dwarves. And we'll do the same here. Okay, so that takes care of spawning the dwarves in the right locations. Let's go to the pirates, and here we'll do our we'll do the same kind of code because it's much nicer than having to go and actually do this try get location from the game. Let's grab this code. Oh, in fact, we'll grab all of the code and just port it across. That's going to go here. That's going to be pirates. That's going to be pirate. Let's bring in the proper namespace. We want the link namespace in here. So that's that. Pirate spawn points, and we're going to say there isn't an alternate spawn point for the pirate, and we'll just lose all that code. So this way we could spawn multiple pirates if that's what the design we wanted to go with. Now we don't need to pass anything into this method. So we're just going to spawn pirates. Okay. Back in Dwarf Manager, after we spawned, we want to actually return at that point. So I think we do return. So on the turn that they're created, they don't actually move around. So pretty much a lot of this is going to be the same kind of code. So let's just pull this code out. So this is dwarves moving around. So we want to move our pirate. He's going to move in a very similar way to dwarves. So it's basically going to wander around, and it's going to be if he sees a player, it's going to stick to them, but they won't attack players in the same way. So let's have movement. Pirate, so the pirate's still active. This is going to be so just in case we do create more than one pirate. Relevant Jesse's raiding with a party of 21. Thank you very much for the raid. That's fantastic. Have some hyperspatial hype. So this is our WebGL shader with infinite numbers of alphs in it. Thank you very much, Relevant Jesse. That's fantastic. Ancient Code, have you come in on the raid, or are you defending the code base? So, open fire with the railguns and the laser turrets. No, they're friendly. Open the docking ports. You have a meeting, Relevant Jesse. Okay, so thank you much for the good luck. Mike reminds me of the radio. Yes, it's I went for this. We're supposed to be. So I'll show you what the code base looks like. We're in the control room of the code base at the moment. So if you pop over here, I'm actually wearing a non-stream friendly Warwickshire cricket shirt, so it's a bit kind of weird. But you can see we're in the control room, and this is supposed to be a floating kind of globe. Which acts as the microphone, so that's why I chose the snowball. Let's go back over to coding. So yes, that's what it looks like. So and the pop filter, I quite like the retro pop filter we've got on there. So Ace Flame Sira and you, Angel, going to suggest you for the raid. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate those things. So if there are people in the in chat there that don't follow, then please do hit that follow button. We're shooting for 300 followers. Oh, the sound of me, Mike. Right. Thank you much, Callow Creation. Thank you for the follow. Here's some Electric Elf to celebrate. So this is our alien buddy who helps us out on the cone base with his supernormal powers there. Once again, this is another one of these WebGL real-time shaders which Fuel Snable did for us. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, Ancient Cody. We do need those follows. So, oh wow, look at that one. Kith Blade Runner. Thank you very much for the follow. Have some Electric Elf. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate every follow. It's it's takes some people to want to follow the stream, so I do really appreciate that. So let's just make these all pirates and then just review the code to see what it's doing, because I'm pretty much sure we want the pirate to move and act when he's following the player around, pretty much like a dwarf until he actually interacts with the player. So once again, the pirate can't wander beyond level 1 of the dungeon, so he can't go into level 0 or to level 2. We haven't defined level 2 yet, but it's an area where it would be too dangerous for the dwarf or the pirate to venture. There's trolls and bears and things down there. And we haven't designed any of that yet. Certainly haven't done the troll bridge puzzle. But everything else looks okay. So that's going to be pirates. Okay, so we're only going to get one pirate. So he's going to, if he's not nowhere, he's not finished his task, which is to steal the player's treasure and hide it. Then the pirate's still active. Look at his possible moves. So the possible moves can either be the monster valid moves or the player valid moves. If there's actually any monster valid moves defined, use those. Otherwise, use the valid moves for players. This is because in some cases the player needs to solve a puzzle to move forward, or there's lots of kind of random numbers involved in when they go down one hole. Do they pop out in another room, or do they actually come back on themselves and return to their current location? So we don't want the monsters following those rules. They know the way around the colossal cave, so they use the monster valid moves if they exist. Then we forget how many moves are available. If the potential move is still level 1 and there's more than one exit, so we don't want them going to dead ends, then build up a list of possible destinations. Has the part seen the player? Set has seen player to true, and move into the player's location. Okay, well that seems reasonable. And then we got a percentage. If they haven't seen the player, then we do random movement. Okay, well that will have the pirate moving around at least. Let's do a build and make sure we're okay on building. So we've got a missing semicolon somewhere. There we are. That's set. Okay, let's build again. So Ancient Code, we're working on the old school text adventure. It's based upon the 1975 game Colossal Cave, or Adventure, as it was possibly called. I remember playing this on a university mainframe where you had kind of 30 minutes of time to actually use the mainframe. We were kind of supposed to be doing chemistry calculations, but oftentimes would kind of creep down into the basement where the mainframe terminals were and play this game. It's very, very old school. It's possibly the first text adventure that was written. It's based upon a real location, the Colossal Cave and Bedquilt Caves in the US, and it was originally a bit of a kind of a caving simulator, but with some fantasy elements added, and then later people added more and more fantasy elements to it. And we're kind of basing ours off the original, but we're going to add things, and we're not developing it in the same way. The original code is written in Fortran, I believe, and it's been converted to C on numerous occasions. We're using C# and .NET Core, but I'm designing it in a completely different way than any of those kind of C conversions or even the original Fortran things were written. So we're kind of using a completely different kind of mode of development. We've got lots and lots of classes, and we're interacting with the environment in a completely different way. I'll explain those as we go along, but each item, for example, the little axe, has possible interactions built with it. So if you want to swing the axe, use the axe, throw the axe, wield the axe, then the interaction happens. In this case, the interaction is actually to throw the axe at a dwarf if there's a dwarf present. But it's a bit limited at the moment because players might say kill dwarf, for example, or attack dwarf, and we want to be able to respond with that. So what kind of wine is that? That is a very nice Australian red. Very, very nice. Jammy red. And I do like my red wine. Pure Snable. Do I need anything T4'd in the project? I don't really actually. Oh, Callow Creation, thank you for the subscription. Here's Fuel Snable's hyperspatial hype. So this is what Fuel Snable created for us. So let's enjoy. So Fuel Snable, there is a Fuel Snable command, but of course we're not running the bot at the moment, so we can't try it out. I was just about to type it in, but of course I just remember we're actually working on the bot, so we can't do it. So let's have some more of that hype because I do love that hype. Oh, some Electric Elf. Thanks very much, Callow, for that subscription. That's fantastic. Okay. So where were we? We were looking at the pirate manager. So the pirate's going to move around independently of the dwarves. So what the dwarves do is when they come across a player, what we need to do, what they do is that we say, oh, there's a dwarf in there with you, and we say there's a nasty dwarf in the room with you, and then there's a possibility the dwarf will attack, and then we roll to hit and whatever. So what have we got to do with a pirate? So if the pirate has seen the player, then this code will move the pirate into the same room as the player. So if the pirate has seen the player and the player is still on level 1, or the pirate's previous location equals the current location, or the pirate's current location equals the player's current location. Okay. So that kind of ends the movement round, and we can, at this point, it will continue. You can see it's going to go back to the top there. So there's a bit of a fault in here because if the dwarf doesn't move, we want it to attack, and currently it's attack. It looks like the dwarf is going to attack. What's the best way of doing this? Let's go over to the pirate and do it in here. So here we want to post a message to the player. So player dot the chat client post direct message. We want to say something along the lines of You hear a rustling noise behind you. So we hear a rustling. It's indication that the pirate is kind of lurking in the shadows. Deathpacks. I don't think I've ever tried making a text adventure. Yeah, it's quite a lot of fun, but it's quite a big task, which is why I decided to build something which I can find things like maps for. So, for example, here's the map. If we zoom in, we've got a reasonable map which has got some kind of clues on it already. And I knew the game anyway, although I never actually got anywhere down here because with 30-minute time slices, Cody Beard, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. With 30-minute time slice, it was impossible to actually get very far. If you got into the maze, then you basically you might as well give up because we never solved. Well, I never solved that maze. But yeah, there's two mazes and there's another maze we need to build, which is this maze down here. So currently, here's the pirate. I don't know what a pirate's doing in a cave, but there we are. We'll gloss over that. There's a dragon down here as well, so we won't worry about that too much. Yeah, so this is why I decided to use this as the basis, and it's got fond memories as the first kind of adventure games I played. I'm not very good at video games and things like that, so text adventure is probably the best kind of thing for me to play. All right, so we've got the rustling noise. If you're in the same room, then it's going to continue. So it'll drop out of the for each. Yeah. So then what happens? So what we need to do is to control. We don't want the pirate. We want the pirate's presence to be signaled by the rustling noise. But we don't want the pirate to steal the treasure straight away. So maybe we have a random number. So what's going to happen is that the pirate's going to leap out. So what we could do with is we could do with knowing the proximity of the player. Okay. So has the pirate seen the player? So is the pirate near the player? So player location is equal to player dot current location dot location ID. So we want to know if the pirate is in a cave which you can get to from the current location of the player. Okay, so so valid moves, possible moves is our link. So we can say if possible moves dot contains player location. The possible moves is a list of locations, and that is a location. So if it contains that location, so here we can say that the pirate is one move away from the player. So we still, do we want it to behave the same way as a dwarf where it's sticky? Do we want it to be able, the player to be able to run away from the pirate and the pirate to wander around? I don't know. If the pirate has seen the player, it should probably be sticky, shouldn't it? It should move. So maybe we remove that clause. We say that if the pirate has seen the player or they happen to be in the same place, then stick. Okay. So pirate close by, false. So let's just code the simplest thing that could work. That's our philosophy. Actually, we actually need that pirate close by. We probably don't, because if we drop out here, we haven't seen the player, but we are close by, so we can hear rustling noise behind you. So it will, and then we'll continue. The parts, it will chase the player. And if it's one, so we need to change these to behind you. Listen, rustling noise in the darkness. Okay, so now we've got the two possibilities. That either the pirate's obviously either in the same room and he's sticking to the player, or is one move away from the player. So you hear the rustling in the darkness and you continue. Then what? Well, if pirate has seen the player, We haven't got a pirate, have we? Oh, that's going to be quite useful to us actually. So, maybe we don't continue at that point. Maybe we do move this. Pirate's possible moves contains the player's location, so it hasn't. No, we need to make sure we stick with the player if we've seen them before. So we do that before we drop through here. Has seen players false. So we need to move that into its own clause there. And then we'll say if not pirate has seen player. Then we're going to do our movement. Like that. Continue. So then we drop down here. We have seen the player. So we're either in the same room as those, or we've followed them. And then we want some chance of stealing their treasure. So so we need to know whether the player has got any treasure on them. So if player dot, now what can we find on a player? Inventory dot has. So what's has going to give us? Or has an item. That's no good. Let's go over to inventory. Inventory. So let's have a new method. This is going to be public bool has treasure. We don't need to pass anything in, and we'll say return items dot any items any, yeah, and where we should have is treasure. We do. So that should return whether there's any treasure in the player's inventory, and then we're going to steal it, which is really good of us, isn't it? Let's tidy some of these things up. These are all the tabs that I created when I was tabbing through. So here we are. So if player.entry.has treasure, then so if the pirate doesn't have any treasure, we don't necessarily want the pirate to stick around, do we? So let's put an else in there, and we'll say that the pirate's not interested in the player, and we'll maybe add some more to that piece of code in a bit. So let's just check our logic. So if the pirate has seen the player, then we're going to skip through this lot. Let's not have an else statement there. Let's just set. No, we need to have that. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. This will then give the player a chance of running away if they haven't got any treasure. But if they have, so then if die_roller percentage, I don't know, 50-50 chance. Good grief! Thank you for saying hello there. So I'm going to try and work out your handle there. C8. I'm going to call you C8. Sorry, C8. I can't quite work out. If you'd like to tell me how to pronounce that handle, it'd be brilliant. C8 Piluta Bill. I'm sure it has hidden meaning, but I can't divine just looking at it on stream. So welcome to the stream. Good to see you. If there's people in stream that haven't pressed the follow button, please do so. You'll get notifications when I stream. You also help me out trying to reach my target of 300 followers. Sorry. So yeah, and if you feel so inclined, yeah, thank you very much for any subscriptions that come my way. You know, people don't need to subscribe. That's not the point. But if you do want to support the stream in that fashion, great. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing so. Otherwise, a follow would be much appreciated. Or you can also find me over on Twitter. Let me post in the right place. So here's my Twitter handle. So do pop across to Twitter, and thank you very much, C8, for the follow. Have some hyperspace. Now have some electric elf. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. My Discord has just come up as well, so I'm on Twitter, so you get advanced notification of any pop-up streams. On Discord, you're welcome to come across and chat on Discord. We talk about programming stuff, but also about space. I'm a rocket nut, a SpaceX fan. So we talk about rockets and space things and Artemis project and what kind of things over there. I'm also have a YouTube channel where all my videos are archived. So if you'd like to go and subscribe, it's perfectly free to do so. All the previous 50 episodes are on there. We've done lots of different projects. So I think the first few streams were creating a secure web API using .NET Core and JWT bearer tokens. Then we built an Alexa skill from scratch. After that, what did we do? Well, we did some work with the Microsoft Bot Framework and adaptive cards, which was quite interesting to do. What else did we do? We built a synthesizer using .NET Core 3 and WPF. We've done some audio programming using Juice and C++. We've done obviously some work on the bot and the text adventure, and there's a few other kind of projects on there as well. So do go and check that out, and just hit the subscribe button. So it's perfectly free to subscribe to YouTube. It's just like a follow on Twitch. But yeah, do kind of get involved in the community, and also with other live coder streams. So I am a member of the live coders team. There are about 60 of us now, and people broadcast streams on all kinds of subjects. Some are more tutorial based. There are hardware streams, all kinds of things. So do check that. Thank you for posting that link that link into chat, Agent Coder. Yeah, good bunch of streamers on that list. Yes, Deathpacks. That's very true. Everyone, they're all fantastic. And you get people like Gareth Hubble who does F sharp. Deathpacks, thank you so much for the subscription. That's very, very kind of you. Have some hyperspace hype. I hope you're stable still in chat, because we're getting quite a lot of use out of his wonderful WebGL shaders tonight. Okay, so let's go back to the problem in hand. So 50-50 chance, do you think? Thank you very much, C8. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I think I'm lacking energy because I'll get quite tired, but tonight I'm feeling buzzed. Okay, so 50-50 chance. Let's say 50-50 chance, which is going to be 49 in this case. So if that is true, so if we get less than, so from 0 to 49 on our percentage roll, then we're going to steal the player's treasure. Right, okay. So how are we going to steal the player's treasure? Let's go and have a look at what the inventory again. So we added a has treasure. So we got add item and remove item. So we've got containers, remove item containers, remove item containers. We've got counts. Does the player have the required container for an object? So for example, like the cage to hold the bird, or the bottle to hold the water or oil. We've got list items. So let's get, we has treasure. Let's get treasure. So public. This is going to be now a list of my adventure item. And it's going to be get treasures. And we're going to return a list. So we're going to return items where the item is an item of treasure. So let's fat arrow some of these. Fat arrow that one. And that one. That one. I think that's it. Okay, so we've got get treasures. So on the pirate manager, so if we roll 0 to 49, then for treasure is going to be a player. One of the things you'll notice in my streams is I do type terribly. I'm a lot better when I'm not on stream. Get treasures. So we get those. So for each we'll call that treasures. For each treasure in treasures. Oh dear me, look at this. For each item in treasures, what we're going to do? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to say player. I'm going to hit player dot inventory dot remove item treasure. And then we're going to we're going to add that item to the hidden location of the pirate's treasure chest. So Fuel Snowball says you sometimes wonder if all the coding stream watchers are also streamers. I wonder that as well. A lot of them are, I think, but I don't think it's it's universal. But I think there are quite a few streamers who watch coding streamers. So, but hopefully not everyone. As I say, otherwise it'd be a very, very small community that we'd be broadcasting to. Okay, so we should have some code over in Dragon, the Dragon item. So let's go and have a look at the interactions with Dragon. So here we not the Dragon, the event manager. Here, where with the dragon, we killed a dragon, and after a certain number of turns have gone by, then we replace the dead body of the dragon with a rotting version of the dragon. Yeah, Rambling Geek, you stream, don't you? Ancient Coder, do you stream? Deathpack, do you stream? C8, do you stream? Don't know. So what's this? This is okay. I think that's what we want to do. If we go back to our pirates, we can do something very similar here. So this is going to be treasures and iAdventure item. Treasure dot item ID, and the location this is so what happens when we remove an item? What happens to the item? So we can add the treasure item directly to the location. We just need to get the location, and the location is going to be what? It's going to be we need what do we need? An iAdventure location. Have we got game available to us? We have. So we might as well yeah, we might as well just do it down here. So we'll say here var pirate chest is equal to this is going to be, once again, I'm going to use a try get. So found equals game.dungeon try get location, and the location is going to be location dot pirate chest cave out var pirate chest. So that should be an iAdventure location, which it is, and then we can say that this location is pirate chest location. So that should steal all of the items. So let's just protect all that with an if statement. So if we do find the pirate chest location, then we're going to steal the treasures, move all the items to do it, and then we're going to then the pirate's going to vanish. Pirate dot current location is going to equal location dot nowhere. The pirate's previous location is also going to be nowhere. Nowhere. Okay. What did we do over with our little axe to move the player? We just did that, didn't we? Okay, do the same thing. We know that nowhere is going to exist, so just grab that and just move them both to nowhere. And that's going to be a lowercase g. And we need to have some text appear. So okay. So here we can say player. We need to move all these strings out of here, but we don't chat clients dot post direct message the player, and the message is going to be, you hear rustling behind you. So when we're in the same room as the player, you hear a rustling noise behind you. It's a bit quiet. Let's have some music. A bit of relaxed daily. I think I need that today. That's better. So what's been going on? So actually, because he doesn't stream, but enjoys watching you good people. So thank you, Ancient Coder, and yes, they're all good on that that live coding team. And I particularly enjoy Rambling Geek stream because we don't get a lot of code written sometimes, but it's certainly a fun stream. I do really enjoy that. Yeah, so Ancient Coder, the weather's a bit fresher today, isn't it? Though it's getting a bit balmy this evening. I'm getting quite warm sitting here, but yes, it's a lot better. I think 20 degrees and no rain is fantastic in the summer, and in the winter I like a heavy frost and bright sunshine. And I like to go walking over the fields when it's kind of frosty, really cold but sunny. It's really the best time, I think. So. Yeah, rustling noise behind you, and a pirate jumps out of the darkness. Then we'll say before you can react. We can react. He has swiped all of your treasure. So we can keep this all on the swiped all your treasure and vanished into the gloom. As he leaves to hear the pirate laughing. Perhaps we can do this. I'll hide this treasure in my maze. These days. So it's going to hide that in the pirate maze, which is the all alike twisty turny passages all alike maze. One thing we might do is actually change where it gets hidden, because there's going to be another maze. There's the twisty turny passages, all different maze as well, which we haven't done yet. So we may have in the future a chance of which is the pirate maze. Traditionally, the all alike maze is the pirate maze, but yeah, we can change things up a bit and move things around. So maybe it could be a 50-50 chance of which location, which maze it gets hidden in. You tend to end up in the maze anyway, and I'm hoping that by going into the maze, you have a better chance of actually encountering the pirate and having your treasure stolen. Ooh, pardon me. Okay. So let's just step through this again. So is the pirate still active? He's not gone to location nowhere. We get all possible moves. We figured out which exits the pirate could move down. We say, okay, we've got the possible moves. Now, has he already seen the player? If he's already seen the player, or they happen to be in the same location, then we're going to become sticky. And we're always going to follow the player. And we're going to say, you're here and nothing is behind you. Otherwise, the pirate hasn't seen the player. We get the player's current location. If the player is within, if the player and pirate are one move away from each other, we hear the rustling noise in the darkness, and then we continue. Has the pirate seen the player? If he hasn't seen it, then we do random movement. Okay. It's different movement to the dwarfs, which is what we want. We want that variation in how they move around. So if they have seen the player, then we're going to drop down into the steel treasure. So if they've got some treasure, if they haven't got any treasure, then we just say we haven't seen him anymore and we continue. Otherwise, there's a 50% chance that they're going to leap out and steal the treasure. If they do so, then we get all the treasures the player's got, we remove them from their inventory and add them to the pirate's chest location, and then we destroy the pirate. He's no longer played any part in the adventure, disappears, and then we put the text, pirate jumps out of darkness before he can react, blah blah blah, I'll hide treasure in my maze, and off he goes. Okay. So let's see if we can see the pirate moving around. Let's put a breakpoint there. We're probably not going to encounter the pirate just in a quick test, but let's run it up and find out what happens. See if we compile first. Eh? No, we don't compile straight away. So what's it saying? Get treasures. Cannot implicitly convert a adventure item to system generic list. So what's this list of then? This is a list of adventure item. Cannot convert SMB bot core games adventure interfaces adventure item into SMB bot core games adventure interfaces adventure item. One list is it? One's an enumerable. We'll just do two list on there. There we go. Brandon, thank you for the raid. Brandon Satchel is raiding. Andrew G, 2G, welcome. Let's have some hyperspatial hype for the raiders. Welcome, raiders. .commy as well. Haven't seen .commy in chat for a long time. Not in my chat necessarily, but in other streams. So here's some hyperspatial hype. This is millions and millions of alpha. And have some electric alpha as well. Hello Brandon, thank you for the raid, that's wonderful. So if there's any newcomers in chat who haven't hit the follow button, I'll be most grateful for the follows. We are trying to reach our target of 300 followers, and we're currently, 78 and a bit % of the way there. So if you do feel so inclined, thank you Frakberg. Frakberg, that's wonderful, thank you. I have some extra hyperspatial hype for the follow, so thank you. Yeah, so as I said before, I'm also on YouTube. All my videos are archived up onto YouTube. That's the information there. Do pop across and hit the subscribe button. It's perfectly free to do so on YouTube. It's just like a follow on Twitter and Twitch. I'm also on Twitter. My handle's actually on the screen at the moment. It's at Codebase Alpha, but there we go, there's that. And Discord, if you want to join me on my Discord server, where we talk about coding and about space. Also we talk about this text adventure and the alpha bot, which is the Twitch bot. Also it's a Slack bot and the Discord bot all at the same time. If we talk about that as well. So if you're interested in that, please pop across. If you want to see the code, then I'm on GitHub. All the code on stream is on GitHub. It's all open source with MIT license. You're completely free to go and take the code, do whatever you want with it. If you're really keen, then it'd be great if you could submit some PRs, fork the repository and submit PRs. Maybe improve what I'm coding here on the text adventure. But yeah, if you want to play with this text adventure yourself, see how it's been developed, then do go and clone the repos. There's all kinds of stuff up there. There's the Alexa skill up there that we did on stream. There's the audio plugins that we did, the VST plugins. There's a synthesizer project we did for .NET Core 3 and WPF, and we'll be returning to synthesizers at some point in the future in C++, because I've been kind of doing quite a bit of investigation into synthesizers and oscillators and all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot more complicated than perhaps we oversimplified things in the .NET Core 3 project we did. Also, there's the Microsoft Bot Framework bot that we did, the AI chat bot, and all the other stuff is all up on GitHub. So do go and take a look. So if you do have any questions about any of the code, then just pop across in Discord, and I'll quite happy to answer any questions. Okay, so we've got it building. Let's run it up. And what I'll use Slack to actually run the adventure. It's all a bit white at the moment. I'm going to close down the browser. As soon as the browser fires up there, where the browser's there, that's the Alphabot administration page. We'll close that down, and here we are in Slack. As I say, the bot is operating in Twitch, Slack, and Discord. So it has popped a message into chat at the moment saying that it's accepting commands, just as it has in Slack here. So what we're going to do, we're going to type the !adv command, which is going to join us into the adventure, and I then get a whisper, basically a direct message here in Slack. So here I'm at the end of the road before brick building, etc. So we're going to just cut to the chase and go into the building. Go in. So we're in the building. If I do a ADV look, I'm going to try and get rid of the ADV part of these commands, but we haven't quite got there yet. So you can see there's some items in here. We're going to go and get the lamp. So we've got the lamp, ADV, light lamp. The lamp shines brightly, and we've got a test command called Brandon. Thank you for the raid, and thank you for joining shortly. So we'll see you later. Take care. Hope you have a good meeting. Thanks for your good wishes. So we got this teleport command, which is our test command. So we can teleport anywhere we want, and this is going to teleport us into Hall of the Mountain King, I think. So let's go there. Okay, so what teleporting has done is actually it's opened the cave. So we've got there's a kind of a condition before things start happening. You have to get so far into the caves, and the flag has been set by teleporting that we are so far in. It's also triggered the dwarves to start moving. But what we're interested in is actually the pirate moving around. So let's go up. So we got a dwarf in the room with us. So we are okay. So I've been a bit premature, haven't I? We haven't wired in the pirate manager into the event manager. So let's go and do that first before doing anything. Oh no, it's there. Look. Oh, we haven't wired it into the game. That's what we haven't done. So there's the dwarf manager. We need to wire in the pirate manager as well. And what we'll do eventually is we'll have this automated. So the monster manager will get populated automatically. We won't have to do this part. We'll do that by just looking through the what's in the assembly. We look for any monster manager, any classes that implement monster manager, and we'll automatically instantiate them and then add them to our monster managers collection. Okay, let's start it up again. I'm sorry about that. I jumped ahead of myself. Too excited. Right, here we go. So we're going to go through that again, but we didn't get too far. Join the adventure. And we'll go into the building again. Grab the lamp. Light the lamp. Just got to figure a way of saying lamp on. I've not figured that one out yet. Because it's verb noun only at the moment, so we want to kind of switch that around. So lamp on is kind of noun verb, and yeah, I haven't quite figured that one. So we're going to teleport now to the Hall of the Mountain King. Go up. We'll probably meet a dwarf. So here we've hit our breakpoint. So our pirate should move. So here's our pirate list. There's only one pirate. He's currently... Oh, he's group dwarves, look. Oh, damn it. Why is he in group dwarves? Group dwarves. That's interesting. Why is he in group dwarves? Also monster group pirate. We haven't... Okay. So this is the problem here. We picked up a dwarf here, haven't we? Why is that saying dwarves? Okay, well I'll come back to the second. Now the pirate's still active. So what's it's got one move available. It's going to move to all light 14. Has the pirate seen the player? No, hasn't seen the player. Is he within one move of the player? No. Has he seen the player? He's not seen the player, so he's going to move. So he's gone to all light 14, and that's the end of it. Okay. The only mystery now is why that said he was in group dwarves when he's the pirates. Okay, wandering monster. We didn't set it, did we? That's right. So here we want group equals group. So that should sort that out. Let's just check that, make sure that works. So what temperature did you say it was where you are for your Snable? In Norway? It's I think I went off the top of the chat and didn't see that, but if it's really hot in Norway, then the kind of 35 in Norway for your Snable, that's absolutely astonishing, isn't it? So it was 30, I think at its hottest in the shade it was 34 here, and that was on that Wednesday, I think, when I went to the cricket. And that was a hot day. Okay, we are running. Let's go back. We have to do the same thing again, but that's no problem. There's not much to do. So we'll go in. Get the lamp. Light the lamp. Teleporting, when we do teleport, also gives us an axe to use as a weapon. Teleport. So here we are in the Hall of the Mountain Kings. We're going to go up. We should. Okay, so now the pirate should be type pirate. Yes, that's fine. So we can continue. But that pirate's just going to move. We've got a dwarf. We're going to throw the axe. This is where we want to be able to say kill dwarf or attack dwarf, but we can't do that at the moment. If I try that, if I say slay dwarf, it will say which dwarf you were referring to. which is a problem because obviously there is a dwarf there. So we're going to say throw axe. So we throw the axe and we hit, and the dwarf disappears in a cloud of greasy smoke, which is always fun. So we go west here. So we should see now the so where's the pirate at the moment? The pirate is in all light 14. It's having moved from the pirate cave, and it's now going to do some more movements. Let's whiz through, see where it goes. So how many moves are there? There's 2 possible moves. It could go back to the pirate cave, presumably. Its new location is going to be all right 13. So it's moving through the maze as we want it to. So if the player ends up in the maze, then it's going to likely encounter the pirate, and the pirate could make its way out of the maze, and then that would be really kind of problematic for the player. Okay, so that's working nicely. So what we could do with doing, we could do with teleporting to all light 14, couldn't we? Let's do that. So let's go and look at our teleport command. And instead of going to the All the Mountain King, let's go to all light 14. This way we should be within 1 move of the pirate, and we should hear him moving around in the darkness. So let's go and try that. Having moved into the maze, of course, I'm going to be a bit scuppered in kind of trying to navigate my way around the maze. But that's not the point. We don't want to stay in the maze very long. So, adventure. Go into the building. Hit the lamp. Light the lamp. The teleport. Okay, so in the maze of tunnels all alike. Maze of twisty little passages all alike, so go west. Okay, so the pirate is currently in his cave, Archer's cave. So if we now step through, he's going to move to all light 14. Has the pirate seen the player? No. So possible moves. We're in all light 13. He's going to move into all light 14. Okay, continue. And now we're going to can't remember what uses a turnip. What uses a turnip? Go east. So let's put a breakpoint here, rather than there. Continue. Okay, so the current location of the player is 14. Current location of the pirate is 14. I'm going to come into here. Has seen. Yeah, Russian was behind you. So we get that message. It's appeared down at the bottom here. You probably can't see it, but we'll see it displayed in Slack in a moment. So do I have any treasure? I don't. So we should see on the screen, you hear a rustling noise behind you, but nothing happens to us because we haven't got any treasure. Obviously if we had some treasure, then we would have gone into this routine. So I think that we can count that as being pretty much working code. What we do need to do is get some treasure and make sure that bit works. So let's load up with some treasure. So we've got an axe. Let's get some treasure. Okay. So we're going to add some coins and a diamond, eh? Okay. So this is all just for testing, so it doesn't really matter. Just at least we get some treasure. Right. Slack. Here we are. Let's go through the same process as we did before. Go in. Grab the lamp. Light the lamp. Oops. What did we hit there for? It shines brightly. Teleport. So if I do an in command inventory, we should see we've got a small axe and some poly coins and a large diamond, which is exactly what we want. So we go west. So he's in All Light 13. He's in Pirate Chest Cave. We're in All Light 14, so we're not going to get anything at this stage. We're going to go east. So we're in All Light 14. He's in All Light 14, so we should encounter him. Rustling noise behind you this time. So let's drop into this. So we get our treasures. We've got 2 treasures, and they are coins and diamonds. Then for each of those, take it off us, add it to the Pirate Chest Cave. Then destroy the pirate. And the pirate jumps out of the darkness. Before he can react, he has swapped all your treasures and vanished into the gloom. As he leaves, I should say, you hear the pirate laughing. I'll hide this treasure in my maze, he says. Okay, cool. That's working nicely. Let's just fix up that typo. Let's also shorten that so it's like that. With the pirate laughing, I'll hide the maze. Okay, so we've got pirate. Actually, that wasn't one of the things I thought we'd actually get written today, but that's pretty good. It's going to be quite annoying, especially if you're loaded down with treasures at that point. Okay, that's cool. Right. What's on my list? Okay. Let's have a look. So there's a couple of features which I never got around to implementing. We might as well do now. In the commands here, in the move, so if you move around and there isn't a light, you don't have a lamp on, or your lamp's run out of batteries, which is the other thing we need to probably do at some point. Then it says it's pitch black. If you move around, you'll probably fall into a chasm or something. So that's just a warning. So that's the only other way you can die at the moment is killed by a dwarf or falling while trying to carry a very heavy golden nugget. So what do we want to do? So if they insist on moving, so if they don't have a light, okay. So what we'll say, if tie roller percentage, so a 35% chance of falling down a pit, and then we'll say else. Okay. The invoke is a void, you can just return at this point. So what we can do, we can take this piece of code, just move it up here. You stumble around. Darkness and fall into a yawning, into a deep pit. Your bones break as you thud into the rock. At its base. Your lamp smashes and darkness engulfs you, and then you die. Okay, well, that seems reasonable. Let's try that out. So, have I got a way of turning the lamp off? That's a good question, isn't it? I want the item, and I want the lamp. There we go. So, there's light lamp. So let's have another interaction added to the lamp. Copy this code and we'll call it extinguish. There's other words we're going to have to try and find some synonyms for extinguish in there, but what we'll do is have a shortened version. ext lamp. Turns off. It's a battered lamp at that point. This needs to be deactivate item. Lamp turns off. Player status. To remove player status. Have we got to remove player status? As light. We haven't, so let's go and create one of those. This is an interaction. So we have add player status. Yeah. Make another version of that. So we're going to have remove player status. It doesn't contain it. Return false, otherwise remove the status. This is going to be remove player status, and we'll move this off into its own file. Okay, that's that. Lamp remove player status. So this is going to be extinguish. Down here, if you're not carrying a lamp, you can't do either. Get the verb. Get the first interaction, which is we'll do the same kind of test here, don't we? If the verb contains extinguish, and not is active, so isn't lit. Isn't this already? So your lamp isn't lit already. There's a bug. Okay, that seems reasonable. Okay, so we're going to be able to turn our lamp off, and then we're going to have a walk around. How foolish is that? Let's give it a go. Rick, thank you for dropping by. Thank you very much for the kind words there, Rick. That's very nice of you to say that. We do try to do some various topics on the stream, some of which are more popular than others, but I think this is a reasonably popular subject. Working on this, I'm particularly interested at the moment in digital signal processing, and I do want to get back to doing some of that stuff on stream. I'm actually learning the piano as well at the moment because I went out and bought a nice big Roland MIDI controller keyboard, and I need to be able to play it. No problem at all, Rick. Okay, where are we? So we need to go adventuring, don't we? Right. We need to be over here. So we need to be able to switch the lamp on and off because we want to actually put a limit on the battery life of the lamp. So we need to be able to conserve it. So adventure, get the lamp. Let's light the lamp. Teleport. This is our test command, as you know. So we're now in the here. Add next lamp. Lamp turns off. Excellent. Can we look? Pitch black, you can't see a thing. Okay. We'll go west. Probably fall into. We'll go east. Here's a rustling noise behind you, so that's the pirate. Go west again. That's interesting. Yeah, rustling noise behind you and a rustling noise in the darkness. Okay, so that's a bug. That is because it's obviously there's a being in the same room. There's obviously a way back into this room, and it counts as being one away by the look of it. So we need to sort that out. Actually found somewhere. There we go. Stumble around the darkness, fall into a deep pit, bones break as you thud into the rock at its base. Yes, that's smashing. That's good for you. You've been killed. You earn 0 during your adventure in 6 moves. Yeah, rustling noise behind you. So we need to suppress the death thing out, don't we? Suppress the pirate if we die. Okay, so there's a couple of things we can work on. So the first thing is that it looks like you can have both a noise behind you and a noise in the darkness. So let's look at that first. That's in the Pirate Manager. So if possible is contain player location and not pirate. I've seen player. So that should prevent that happening. Okay, so we'll try that out. We should be able to test that. The other thing was when we got killed, it still did this stuff. So what happens when we get killed? End of game. Okay. So we need that. And this is probably true of the Dwarf Manager as well. So let's go to the Event Manager. So we'll just put right at the top. We just don't do anything if we're dead. Okay, well, let's see if that has actually sorted those problems out. Okay, back to Slack. We'll go in, get the lamp. Oops, where are we? Oh, yeah. Okay, we just need to be in the whisper. Take lamp. Light the lamp. Sorted it. Add teleports and extinguish lamp. We'll go west. Go east. There's a rushing noise behind you. So that's good. So we're going to go back west. Part jumps out of darkness. We can actually swap all your treasure. Okay, that's good. Again, we've died. What happened here? Couldn't I post a chat message? Unexpected character encounter. What did I type? It's a bit weird. But we have been killed, I think. Interesting. There we go. Bit weird happened there. I think it was a slacky type thing though. Weirdly slack. The venture ends in 7 moves. Okay, so we've got that bit done. We can turn our lamp on and off when we get killed in a pit. That's good. So lamps. What else do we want to look at? Points. Let's do some points management. So in our, what we're going to do initially is put all the points calculations into this end of game method, but we'll probably move it all out again. Not sure exactly where it should live. Probably not. It's probably a game thing, but I'm not sure this is the right place. The calculate points game during game. Okay. So over in Event Manager we have a score here. So in Adventure Game we actually want the player dot score. So we don't need points variable, but points are going to have to be accumulated to other things. So let's me think. So we want points for gathering treasures, but treasures have to be taken back to the brick building to count. Let's retrieve from the cave. So I guess we need to count all the treasures which are at the brick building. So we've got add to location. So let's see what we've got. So we got we've found equal. So we got game here. We are game. So we should be able to say dungeon dot try get location, and it's going to be locations dot location dot building outlaw building. We found. Then we want to find out what we've got at the building. So building dot, what have we got here? Spell building correctly, it might help. Building dot. We should have items. Where this treasure so var number of treasures recovered. Let's be explicit what it is recovered. Can equal that dot count. So then we can say that the player score plus equals 5 times number of treasures recovered. So 5 points for each treasure recovered. Okay. What else? So for each dwarf killed, the player dot score plus equals 5 times player dot event record. What's the event record tell us? Event manager, event record contains key. that's what we want. So if the player's event record contains that key, then event record, event IDs, dwarves, that should be a integer. Like 5 points for every dwarf killed or encountered. Okay, that's reasonable. I'm just going to take a 1 minute break. Fjord's neighbour, we're very busy at work, yes. Amazingly busy. We just started to implement D365. Third party's done the implementation of the schema, and I'm trying to integrate our service layer into it, and I know that the schema is going to be drastically different, but I didn't anticipate it being incomplete at this stage. So there are things I need to map for our business systems to use which haven't been included, and also incorrect mappings, like when there should be a many-to-many relationship between two entities. They've actually done a one-to-many or a many-to-one, which doesn't work at all. So yeah, I'm crying on the inside. I'm just going to take one 1 minute break, and I'll be back in a second. Hang on a sec. It literally was 1 minute. Okay, so we've got some scores there. So we get 25 points for opening the cave, 5 points for every treasure that's been picked up. For just finding a treasure, maybe we should have. Actually, let's make it more points. Make it 15 points for every treasure that's been recovered. No. Okay, 15 points for every treasure recovered. I'm just looking at my list here. So you get points for. You also get points for reaching certain locations, but we'll add those to the score as part of the event manager. So we've got these points. That's probably enough for now. Okay, well, let's see if we can get some points. Let's go back to our teleport. We'll keep the treasures that we've got here, and instead of going to All Alike, we'll go back to Hall of Mountain King, because that way, that's Hall of Mists. Hall of Mountain King. This way, we've got a good chance of encountering a dwarf. And we've also got some treasures we can teleport back to. We can teleport back to the building and drop those. Let's give that a go and see if we can get some points. He was less than a minute, ancient coder. Yeah, it was just a top up the wine glass, so it didn't take long. I didn't want to get a bottle out on stream. It's a bit weird because I was drinking it on stream, but then it would have meant just nipping it off the camera and getting the bottle. Okay, let's adventure. Same old rigmarole. Light the lamp. And teleport. So we'll go up. We should encounter a dwarf. We do, so we'll go anyway. Throw axe. Kill the dwarf. Then we'll do the magic word X, Y, Z, Z, Y. So we killed the dwarf. So we got 25 points for being deep in the caves. We killed the dwarf for 5 points. I think we should have kind of seen a dwarf who ran away, which would be another 5 points, which is because we teleported, that automatically happened for us. And then we're going to drop 30 points worth of treasures at the brick building. So let's do that. Whoops, nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? Killed another dwarf. X, Y, Z, Z, Y. Why does that not do anything? Well, let's go look at the code and find out why nothing happens at that point. X, Y, Z, Z, Y. We're not in the right place. It just swaps us between the debris room and the building. Is that right? What about Plu? What does that do? It swaps us between Y2. That's actually correct. Might be. I still have to read up on that. I wasn't sure about that. Okay, well we'll have to try and just escape from the dungeon then. So let's do that. Go up. Go east. Oh, we haven't got the key. Oh, okay, we'll go to debris room. Go east again. Go east again. Debris room. Now we can do X, Y, Z, Z, Y, and we should appear in the building. Oh, look. So, inventory. We'll go ADV drop coins. Up to coins. We'll fix that at some point. Drop diamond. So diamond. Then we're going to go ADV teleport. ADV extinguished lamp. ADV go up. Interesting. Doesn't talk about us being in darkness, does it? So turning the lamp off hasn't quite worked, has it? ADV inventory. We've got the battered lamp, but it still thinks there's light in the room. Let's see. So that is in the move command. If location is dark and player station, so let's pop the breakpoint there, and we will go. ADV go east. Okay, it's true that it is dark. This is Code Rush visual debugging going on here. So we've got the little space that's been created here. It's got the word true, so we know this is true. If we step into that, that's true. It's the player. If not, the player has light. Oh, okay. It's pitch black. Why didn't we see that printed? It has now. I turned the light up there, then moved. Okay. Now you see, is this lit? I bet we've got something missing. We've got the is dark. False. So the Hall of Mists. We've got some flags missing. So let's sort that out. Let's go and have a look at our locations. Because is dark should be the default. Is dark is true. So we got quite a lot of stuff missing. Well, look at it then. Bed quilt. Is that got is dark? So let's pick a location. Is dark is. So that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? I need to go through and set these locations to be dark. So let's go and do that. Let's get rid of some of this stuff that's up here. A lamp. That. Let's go for an logical fashion, from the top. Okay, so I think all I like maze, I'm going to choose a random location, is dark is true in there. What did we do in here? Made it a spawn point. Yeah, okay, is dark is true. So let's just grab the is dark is true. There are some locations which do have some light in them, but most of them don't. So, anteroom is dark. Bed quilt is dark. These are all names of caves. So the bird chamber is dark. The building isn't. The canyon is dark. Cobbles dark. See, I probably was quite careful doing the setting of the dark flag to begin with, but I've obviously got lax here. So complex junctions dark. So is the crossover. So a bit tedious now, but we need to do it. We did in with the message. Debris room is dark. Depression. That's not dark, that's above ground. Dusty cave should be dark. Entrance cave is dark. Fisher East is dark. Forest gold room is dark. Hall of Miss East is dark. and west. All Mountain King is dark. Hill Jumble Rocks is dark. Yep. Yep. Longhall East. That's definitely dark. West. Low Passage, dark. Low Room, dark. Mirror Canyon's dark. Mirror Canyon, what level is that on? That's level 1. And it's dark. Nowhere, doesn't matter. Oriental Room, that's dark. Reservoir, that's dark. So this is level 2. It's dark. The dwarves can't get to the reservoir, basically that's why it's level 2. Some Secret Canyons is dark. Secret Canyon. That's level 1. Secret Junction. We've got a list of where the dwarves can't go actually. Let's just check my list. They can't go to the reservoir. I think we're okay. So doing these level 1s was actually something we needed to do anyway, so we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone and do that. And I know it's a bit tedious to watch, but it does mean the game will run smoothly. The dwarves will move around in the right locations, and our possibility of getting killed when our lamp runs out, the batteries, is increased. This is Secret Passage. There we go. Not much more. Slab Room's definitely dark. Split in the Rocks, Small Pit is dark already. The Slab Room level 1, yeah. Small Pit, Soft Room, dark. South Side Chamber, that's going to be dark as well. Stalactite is dark already. Swiss Cheese, definitely dark. And Cheesy. Swiss Cheese, name of rock formations within the cave, basically. As I say, this game actually started out as a bit of a kind of caving simulation, with fantasy was added quite soon after it was written, but Valley, West Side Chamber, dark. But it's kind of interesting that you can actually go to these locations with some difficulty, no doubt, because where it says it's tight crawls and all that, I believe it actually really were tight crawls. So window 1, did I make that level 1? I did. And nearly at the end, and Y2 should be dark as well. Okay, so it was a bit of a pain, but we've got that done. Ancient Coder, thank you for watching. Good night to you. Have a good night. If you're doing anything else, enjoy it. If you're like me, I'll be going straight to bed after this stream. Got a tough day in the morning, so I've actually got to go back and do a little bit more work after the stream, in fact, and then go to bed. Okay. There was a couple of other little refinements I wanted to make. Over in the command handler, we had some list of nulls. We got 2. 2, that's good. Okay, that's fine. Commands go, move. So where do I instantiate my commands? Adventure game, is it? Adventure game command. This is the problem with not working on this. Hello, Dragoneye. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Just to let you know, Dragoneye, we'll be going back to doing some audio programming in the next couple of streams. Not exactly sure when. I'm going to be going back to C++, and I'm going to be using a system called RackAFX to experiment with creating different types of synthesizers. So it should be fun. And these will be synthesizers created pretty much from scratch in C++. Looking at some of the complexities that I didn't appreciate or use when we did the synthesizer in C# and .NET Core 3 and WPF. So looking at oscillators and how to create square waves and triangle waves and sawtooth waves without all the aliasing which comes with the kind of brute force methods. So not using additive synthesis, but using kind of mathematical techniques for combining, kind of smoothing the waveforms out so they don't produce all the aliasing. So I think it's really quite interesting stuff. At the moment, I'm wading my way through a book called a DSP Primer, which is kind of teaching me some of the mathematics behind it, which you don't really need to know for the stream, but it's certainly fascinating stuff. So where am I at instantiating my commands? Move is here. So I say so it's an invoke, and invoke was called by the command handler. So here it is. So get command from the command registry. I think I'm going to leave that. I don't want to flounder around trying to find some code. I can't remember where I put it. Have I got an adventure command? Got adventure command? I haven't. There's a command registry. Oh, here we are. This is it. So for Go, I wanted to have head as a synonym in there, so you can head north, head south. Got look, take, get, grab, drop. Listen and say. I was going to have a listen command as well. We won't do that today. Okay, so that's that bit. We've got the dwarves and the darkness. A pirate's looking good. So what else have I got? We got. Oh, did we score any points? We didn't score any points, did we? What was I doing? I was still over here, wasn't I? Oh, it was. We found it. We found it wasn't dark, didn't we? So let's go back and just test that we get some points now when we get killed. DSP primer. Yeah, it's I got it second hand. You can't buy it new from Amazon. It's relatively old, but my copy came in fantastic condition. It was and it was actually had a plastic cover on it as well. It's obviously an ex-library book and it's been really well looked after. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy who wrote it, Stieglitz, something like that. But yeah, really good. Basic introduction to the mathematics behind digital signal processing. So it kind of starts off really slowly, looking at sinusoids, and introduces the idea of complex numbers and complex sinusoids and Euler's equation and stuff like that. So I'm not very far into it, but it's already really good stuff. Okay, so we're running. Let's go over to here then and go play the game. Okay. Where's Alphabot gone? There he is. I'll go in. We can get rid of that. Then we'll grab the lamp. Pardon me. Light the lamp. Teleport. Let's make a note of the points we should get. So we're going to get 25 points for opening the cave, which teleporting does. That's plus 25 onto our points. Let's teleport. We go up. We're probably going to encounter a dwarf. We do. We're going to throw the axe. Hopefully we kill the dwarf. It dodged. Grab the axe. Yeah, it missed us. Throw axe. Killed the dwarf. Get the axe again. Because now when we throw it, it does actually come out of our inventory. So you can't post links in the chat and Dragon. I've got because I don't have any mods. I've dialed up Nightbot to the extreme. But if you post that into Discord, I'll have a look for you and confirm. Okay, so now we've killed a dwarf, so that should be another 10 points because we've encountered the teleport. Gives us 5 points for starting the dwarves moving. Plus 5 and plus 5. So now we're going to go up again. We're going to go east. Go east. We'll try a new command, head east. Go east. In the debris room. Now we can do a DV X, Y, Z, Z, Y. We're in the debris room. Oh, ADV X, Y, Z, Z, Y. Ping with the building. Drop coins. Drop diamond. Look. Okay, we've got coins and the diamond there. And then we'll go X, Y, Z, Z, Y. Okay, now we'll turn the lamp off. And we'll go wandering through the darkness, foolishly. Yeah, we've been killed, and we got 40 points. So I'm looking at 40. That's not enough, is it? So so we haven't got our 25 points. Probably didn't add them. Let's have a look, see if you got the right one. Not that one. Let's see if we can find it for you. It's this one here. So the author is this. Let's get into what's going on with the adventure. Okay, what we've been doing, you remember? I don't know if you were in the last time when we were working on the dwarves, the wandering monsters with dwarves. We've actually added a pirate, and we've kind of extracted all that code into their own classes. So we've now got a dwarf manager and a pirate manager, and the pirate basically creeps around and steals your treasure. What I was doing now is just before we finished is just getting the it so that we get some points. Before there was no concept of actually earning points, so you can see how well you did before you died. So we've got 40 points there, and I think it should have been 65 points because we get 25 points. If we go to let's stop the game here. If we go to the event manager, which is under events here, when you open the cave you get 25 points added to your score, but my adventure game bit here didn't have those points, and I think it's because in the teleport command, which is here, then I am opening the cave there, but I'm not adding the points. So if we do the same, if we do it here, this is just to simulate actually walking through the dungeon. So that should sort that problem out. Here we're getting some kind of items for free. And this setting dwarves to 1 is where we get our free kind of 5 points. Yeah, the pirate stole my points. Stole 25 of my points. In fact, we should do something with the pirate, really, shouldn't we? So, you should probably get some points for encountering the pirate. What should you do? There's points for slaughtering the dwarves. The pirate steals your treasure, or it may steal your treasure, but then vanishes. So okay, well, that's an interesting idea. So in locations all alike maze, the pirate's chest cave is here. So I wonder what should happen at that point. So in the event manager, we could do something with that. almost if they found their treasure, we give us some points that's been stolen. So the monsters move around. We do the dead dragon business. What can we do here? Do we want to give them points for having their treasure stolen? That doesn't seem logical, but for recovering their treasure, points for recovering stolen treasure. So what we can do is say if not player dot event record dot contains key events IDs dot recovered treasures, recovered stolen treasure. Closing bracket on that. So let's go over to this. I call it recovered stolen. You've seen the debate that's going around on, I think it was someone started on Twitter. Do you have trailing commas in your structures or your enums or whatever, or in your object initializers? I do. I like to have trailing commas. I think it was a bit of a split survey, with some people not wanting to do that, but I don't know what it is, why I like to have a trailing comma there. I do. Okay, so if they haven't already got that, so if player dot location equals location ID equals location dot RHS cave if found equals game dot dungeon dot. Using this quite a lot today. Location dot pirate chest cave, like that. Comma out our pirate chest. So we've found, and pirate chest dot items dot count greater than 1. So the location contains the pirate's chest without any treasure in it. So this needs to be where. So this this needs to be items dot where x dot is treasure. Count. Bring in link. So if it's got more than one treasure there, so let's just check that the pirate's chest is actually treasure. Pirate chest. Oh, it isn't, is it? Oh, that's the cave. Where is it? Items. Pirate chest. Container. Pirate chest. Treasure equals true. I think it is a piece of treasure itself. No, it's not, is it? Okay, fair enough. So if that case, the event manager should be if it's greater than 0. If we got some treasures at that location, then player dot event record dot add event IDs dot recovered on treasures, event IDs add that. Player event record dot add. What's wrong with that? Oh, it needs a value. 1. Okay, and then we can say for recovering their treasures they get extra 25 points. No, extra 20 points. 15 points. No, 10 points. Whoops. 10 points. Let's rebuild. Okay, so I hit some key there I shouldn't have hit. What's the time now? Coming up to 3 hours. I think we've done enough for the evening. Let's have a look at what's changed. Okay, quite a few changes. So we fiddle with move and teleport. Event manager, we just added some more points to. Events, we added a new event. We've got a new remove player status interaction. Yes, we've created the spawn point types where we can spawn dwarves and pirates separately, or any other kind of wandering monster we want to have. We added the ability to turn the lamp off as well as having it on. We made sure that when we're using the axe, it's dwarves we're killing and nothing else. So there's still quite a lot to do with the axe, and also the killing of dwarves or whatever. And we changed a load of stuff with these to make sure that they were dark and at the right level. And yeah, then we created our pirate manager, and oh yes, we moved dwarf manager out of the wrong location. It was in locations, in fact, moved into the right place. Okay, so let's commit this stuff. So we call it episode 51. Commit that, and then we'll sync it up to GitHub. So this, as I said before, this code is all available to you in on GitHub. So do pop over there. Here's the address. That's my GitHub. So you're absolutely welcome to go over there and do what you will with the code that's on there. It's for you to use. It's MIT public license. So it's all available. All the work we do on the stream is up there. So that all the past projects as well. Talking about past projects, then YouTube has all of my previous videos. So this video will join them within the next 24 hours. So there's 50 videos up there at the moment. Covering a whole range of projects we worked on, from creating an Alexa skill from scratch to working with the Microsoft Bot framework, digital signal processing stuff. We've got multi-filter, and we've got a rather nice delay effect using kind of classic technology, emulating an analog technology basically, but classic synthesizer delay effect, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's all on there. There's many hours of videos up there for you to peruse. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free to do so. A bit like following on Twitch, but it does help me out if you do that. Once again, if you haven't followed the channel this evening and you wish to, please press the follow button. I'll be very grateful for that. Let's find someone to raid, shall we? We should find someone to raid, I'm sure. It's relatively early in the scheme of things. So let's go and have a look who's currently live. Oh, Robert Tables. Yep, we'll go and... Oh, it's a sub-only stream by the look of it. So I won't go to that. Looks like Source Code isn't streaming tonight, so I'll normally raid him. So if anyone's got any suggestions who we could raid, then that would be great. I don't have anyone particularly at the moment. Let's see who's. So Michael Jolly, Full Stack Dev Chat, they're all hosting me at the moment. Has anyone got any suggestions? If not, I'll just end the stream there. Sure about Robert Tables. Let's just check once more. I'm getting no suggestions from chat. Very quiet tonight, actually, isn't it? Oh well, okay, so we're not going to find anyone. So normally I would go on until approximately midnight tonight, but I started at 7:30, so I started an hour and a half early from my normal schedule, and I've got a very busy night, so busy day, and I've also got to do a little bit of work now when we come off stream. So I've got a program running upstairs on my work machine, which I need to kind of just do a quick test for. So I'll call it a night there then. So thank you everyone for those who followed, those who subscribed. Millions and millions of thanks for that. And I'll see you again on Wednesday when we do some more work on our text adventure. And then we'll be returning to some digital signal audio processing stuff in the very near future with some C++. So take care everyone, and I'll see you Wednesday. Bye bye.